Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here, back with the next part of What If Naruto Was Separated from His Family, and today is going to be a double upload, and I'm going to be uploading the next part of What If Naruto Had Mother's Love as well, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And without further ado, let's continue our story. Konoha ga Kure no Sato. Chaos. That is the obvious description of what was happening in the village. Unbeknownst to the both attackers and defenders, the telecast was still ongoing, as it was already hacked by the Uzumaki tax and could not be turned off by the leaf. And so the viewers all around the elemental nations were watching a war on television, only this time it was live and was actually happening. There wasn't anyone acting. People were really dying. Everyone's eyes were glued to their screens and kept on watching, even if they wanted to. The viewers cannot avert their eyes, nor turn off their television. The battle had been raging for 10 minutes now. The invading armies, Kumo, Eva, and Kiri flooded the streets as they brought death and mayhem to the people of Konoha. Much to the defenders' confusion, the attackers were able to breach the village easily. Unknown to the both attackers and defenders, another party was responsible for taking down the Leaf's defenses. The Raikage immediately tried to kill the Hokage as soon as the invasion began. The Tsuchikage went off the personally informed Han and Roshi of their new roles due to Yujito and B's kidnapping. While this was happening, the Mizukage left without anyone noticing. Hiruzen Sarutobi was having multiple thoughts in his mind. He wondered how the enemy forces managed to surprise them, and he was sure he made all preparations to keep an invasion from happening. Another thing that was bothering him was the Cubist Jinchuriki's participation with the exams. When he already knew that the Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze was the same Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze from the bingo books. How come I let that demon brat participate when I'm already aware that he's double S ranked? How come nobody approached me about letting it join the event? Did they catch us with an strong genjutsu? But how and when? And the thing that bothered him most was Uzushio Gaku's resistance. How they managed to deceive them all, and how the Uzumakis learned of their dirty secrets. There is a traitor in our midst, but who? He was brought from his musing when his battle senses warned him of danger. Sarutobi dodged an elbow attack from the Raikage, who was now coated with lightning armor. Yochise no Jutsu, summoning technique. The Hokage quickly slammed his palm on the ground and summoned his partner, Monkey Enma. I see, an invasion. Someone quickly understood soon as he saw the village current state. Yes, Enma, I need you to keep him occupied while I prepare it. You really summoning them? You know the crosses the line. You'll be breaking the order of life and death. Enma shouted as he attacked A to let his summoner prepare. Times call for drastic measures. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm already old. The Leaf is fighting against 3 villages. What worse is that 3 more villages might decide to participate with the Leaf's destruction. Kumo, Eva, and Kiri, they're the ones currently here. What are the other 3? Suna, Oto, and Uzushio. I'll explain about them later. I see. The consequences of your actions finally come back to bite you. Don't lecture me about this. I only did it for the best of the village. Do you really? Or was everything for your own personal agendas? Enma asked in his mind as he glared at Hiruzen. Fine, whatever. Do what you must. I'll keep the Raikage occupied. Thank you, the Hokage replied as he made a distance and prepared a long set of hand seals. Yochise, Ero Tensei, summoning a pure world resurrection. 3 thunks were heard. 3 coffins rose from the ground, with the labels Shodai, Ni, and Yon, respectively. The lids opened and the now reanimated people walked out from it. Much to everyone's surprise, the 3rd coffin was empty. Brother, you should have listened to me when I told you to erase this jutsu from existence. How does it feel being under the effects of your creation? Hashirama asked as he walked out of the coffin. Why ask me, when you're also its effect? Tobirama replied as he too stepped out of his coffin. You're impossible, the Shodai Hokage muttered as he rolled his eyes. I'm starting to agree with Mito-chan now. You really were high that time when you made this jutsu. Honestly, a reanimation jutsu for your cat Tora? The Nandam only snorted as he now faced his summoner and glared at him as best as he can. Hiruzen, you, Danzo, Hamura, and Koharu have fallen low. I'm very disappointed in you. Yes, we know everything. We kept watching of the village even in the afterlife. You have lost your will of fire, added the Shodai. The Sandam did not respond but formed a hand seal, effectively silencing the 2 Kages and making them immobile. He finally completed the jutsu by placing the seals on them. The 2 became able of movement again but had blank expressions on their faces. What happened? Why can't I summon the 4th? Sarutobi thought as he glared at A and Oneki. He was now wielding Enma, who have taken his staff form. The Raikage and Tsuchikage stared in shock as they watched the Shoda and the Nandam Hokage bent on their battle stances. A seizes attack Enma soon as he saw three coffins raised from the ground. Oniki arrived on time to witness the Sandam Hokage summon his predecessor from the dead. This is bad. Where the hell is Mizukage? The Raikage demanded as he increased his lightning armor to its second level. I do not know. I thought she was fighting alongside you, replied the Tsuchikage. Elemental nations. Everyone watching had various reaction with the Sandam Hokage that did something that was considered taboo. It ranged from fear, shock, and anger, depending by each individual. The civilians were shocked, surprised with the fact that the dead had been brought back to life. The lower-ranking shinobi felt fear as they imagined fighting against the two, while the higher-ranked shinobis, the Kages and the daimyos, were angered. Blamphy. This is outrageous. How disrespectful. He really crossed the line this time. These were the thoughts that they shared. Some daimyos and Kages were seriously considering attacking the leaf for the violation the Sandam Hokage had done. Uzumaki fleet, command ship. He summoned them early, murmured Kushina as they watched. I guess that because he figured we'll be attacking, said Minato. At least he's not a total fool for not having figured that out yet, said Tsunade. The Kazekage raised an eyebrow at Kushina. You're not even bothered by this? No? Actually not, replied the three. Orochimaru simply laughed while the Kazekage looked incredulous. We've known about Sarutobi's using the Edo Tensei since the day after I replaced Danzo, said Minato. I had his memory extracted, killing him, then I resurrected him, of course. We wanted him to see the leaf burn, said Kushina. And don't forget that Uzumaki said, and I did Arashi. I'm still confused, said the Kazekage. Simply put, the bodies resurrected by the Edo Tensei are controlled by a seal. Without the seal, we resurrected may attack the jutsu user since they will get back control of their bodies. I see, so you created a seal that will just override the existing seal to create and release the Shodai and Nandam Hokage from the Sandam's control? Exactly, replied Kushina, grinning. 1,000 meters to firing distance, interrupted the captain's voice as he spoke through the intercom. There's our cue, said the Uzukage. Naruto ship. Naruto, what do you plan to do now? Asked Kara as he stared at B as Yujito's unconscious forms. I'll convert them if they choose to remain loyal to the village. I'll just kill them, simple. You won't have to kill them. Once you tell them you're the sage reincarnation, their bijus will convince them to join our cause, said Zakata. We'll see. On cue, Fu and Hinata removed the seals that kept the captives unconscious. B was the first to wake up, followed by Yujito. The two of them glared at Naruto as they recognized him. Hello, I'm sorry about earlier. Really? Said Yujito sarcastically. We don't have to be enemies. You're following the wrong cause. My loyalty belongs to the Raikage and Kumo, replied the woman, while B kept silent. Yujito-san. I'm sure you're aware about Kumo kidnapping children and raising them as weapons. What are you trying to say? Isn't it obvious you're one of those children? Yujito's eyes went. How can you tell? She asked weakly. Come on, just by looking at your skin color, it says a lot. If you want more convincing, why don't you ask Matatabe? Naruto added. How does he know my name? We just aren't allowed to tell humans their name. They can only tell to their host. The demon cat wondered. Ah, you're wondering why I know. Naruto muttered. Yuki, are you listening too? Yuki's listening. Yeah, said B. Very well. I'm not that good at talking, you see, so I'll just trailed off Naruto as he activated his Rinnegan. My Rinnegan haven't achieved its final form yet, but the old man's told me it will soon. Anyway, to sum it up, I'm the reincarnation of the sage. Naruto ignored Yujiro and B's gasps and continued. To back up my claim, you and your Biju can talk to the sage himself. He shall be the one to explain everything about me and the Uzumaki clan. Naruto sat down and offered his hands. B immediately accepted it, while Yujiro was skeptical. My hands are clear, you know. I haven't touched anything filthy or poisonous. No. There are no seals either. I'm not going to harm you. I'm simply bringing you to my mindscape, inside the mindscape. B and Yujiro were expecting to see a sewer. Instead, the mindscape looked like paradise. Unknown to them, Naruto simply copied the appearance of the sacred land, where he and the other trained to become perfect Jinchurikis. It looks like the giant turtles, muttered B. Yuki appeared behind him. Indeed, B. However, this is bigger. This island was meant for the 9 Jinchurikis to train simultaneously. If Naruto knows this place, then I'm pretty sure he also perfected his form, and he bonded with Kurama. Damn right he did, said Kurama as she appeared. So what is this reincarnation thing your host was talking about? Asked Matatabe as she appeared behind Yujiro. Easy. Naruto was telling the truth, said a new voice. Of course I was. What would I gain by lying about me being your reincarnation? Matatabe and Yuki guessed as Naruto appeared with a man who looked exactly like him, except he was older, had horns, and had red hair. The old man chuckled. Calm down now. There's no need to get riled up, the old man said as a staff materialized. He managed it to bang it on the ground, and there appeared rings patterns. Hello, my children, Rokudo calmly said as he faced Matatab and Gyuki. B and Yujito bent down on their knees as they felt the man's power. Rise, B, Yujito. The two hosts nodded as they stood up. Naruto disappeared and reappeared on top of Kurama's head. The sage of the sixth path once again banged his staff on the ground. The scenery changed. We are now at the Warring Era. This was the time before hidden leaves and villages were found. Be Yujito, I want the two of you to pay attention. As soon the sage showed them everything from the era up to the current date, Rokudo then explained and showed how he chose the Uzumaki clan. He explained those purposes on the world, maintaining balance and getting rid of peacebreakers every now and then, hence the reason why their clan obtained the Rinnegan. The sage showed Uzushigakure's establishment up to the point where they were forced to make the world believe that they were gone. He also showed them Naruto's upbringing and how he became the strong young man he was now. After what seemed like months, the vision stopped, and the mindscape returned to its training island look. Do you believe him now? Asked the sage, smiling. Outside the mindscape, only a minute had passed since they went in. Of course, time and dimension were different when they were inside the mindscapes. Now that you know and understand my clan, and why are we doing this? I will be leaving you alone for now to think. I won't force you to fight for us. I understand your loyalty to your country. However, I will be limiting your chakra to ensure you remain here and not attack us. Command ship. Anchors. Ship. Troops. Disembark. Tanks. Sweep the area. Airships. Go on ahead and commence bombardment. Ordered Kushina. Air Force. Commanded airship, Nagato's airship. Nagato watched from above as his commanded force, 120 airships, flew past Konoha's outer walls, not worried about anti-air system, as they have been taken out earlier, making their easy way in. The raging battle could not be now be seen. Scatter around, ordered Nagato through the intercom as the ships positioned themselves above various parts of the village. The fighting below seemed to come to a halt as the attacking alliance forces and Konoha defenders watched the airships warily. One of the middle of each airship, a hole opened and a cannon appeared. It had a 1.5 meter diameter as was 3 meter long. The Uzumaki scientists have found a way for airship to contain and direct gravitational attacks. They could now fire gravitational forces without recoil. For in 3, 2, Shinra Tensei, almighty push. 120 blast holes appeared down the village with the success attack. Buildings that were in the way were flattened to the ground. The clashing armies below seized as they lost their balance. Those who were fighting near buildings perished as the structure came down on them. The fire that had started had been put out due to their intense gravitational attack. They are dying with it. Activate shields. We have 15 minutes before the cannons are ready for another blast. Sir, the captain shouted. Our radar has detected about 130,000 signatures from the Hokage mountain. 100,000 have equal chakra levels, while the other 30,000 have various ranges from normal tuning to Anbu level, and lastly there are 6 that are Kage level, sir. Obito's army, muttered Nagato. Inform the main command immediately. Hi. How on earth did they get here? Underground travel? Mass transportation jutsu, wondered Nagato. Konoha's barrier corps. What the hell? There are 2 more armies approaching from opposite sides, said Yuga. There are more than 100,000 on each side. Inform Hokage-sama immediately. Yamanaka nodded and formed a hand seal quickly and transformed the message to Inoichi. Konoha Arena. The battle began. The Kage went to the halt as they came to a standoff. Hiruzen Sarada breathed deeply as he glared at the Raizukage and Tsuchikage. Hashirama and Tobirama, whose faces were blank, stood in front of the Sandime Hokage in a defensive position. From the corner of his eye, Hiruzen noticed that head of the clan Yamanaka running towards him. As the man arrived, he beckoned him forward as Inoichi relayed the message. Unnoticed by them, 2 others also arrived to relay the same message to Ei and Oniki. Oniki's POV. After hearing the message, the 2 leaders conversed as they noticed the Hokage also busy conversing with the messenger. 200,000? Half of it consisted by Uzumakis. Their army is that huge? Exclaimed Oniki. There's still the others half. We can convince them to fight alongside us, said A. Where the hell is the Mizukage anyway? If my instincts are correct, then I believe she's already dead. The second or third incoming army must have gotten the Mizukage and half for forces as we lost connection from the ships. Then it is true. Water country is now ours, the Tsuchikage said with a devilish glee. Do not celebrate yet. I still have to survive this. Resident POV, I see. I need you to relay this message to everyone. If the incoming armies are more opponents, then we will have to withdraw and let them kill each other first. We'll come out when their numbers are reduced to half. But sir, the Uzumaki army have advanced machinery and weapons. I know that, Inoichi. We have no choice. Konoha will be a battleground for 4 different sides. But do not let that put you down. As you can see, I've summoned the Shodai and Nandam Hokage. Their bodies repair and themselves, as well as they have unlimited chakra. They will be of great help to destroy invading armies. Relay this information as well to boost morale. Uzumaki fleet, command ship, Nagato. Use the normal jutsu cannons and meet Obito's army. Bomb the hell out of them. Tank move to the sides to close in for an ambush. I want their armies reduced before they descend to the mountain. Nagato, the tanks are yours to command now. Minako, move your corps towards the shores. Keep an eye with the Kiri and Kumo navies, but keep out of the radar. Narumi, move your corps forward and form a perimeter around the village. Kaide, have your corps form a second line behind Narumi's. After giving out orders, Kushina faced the Mizukage, who smirked at her. I'm still amazed they haven't figured out you're an Uzumaki, Mei. Kushina said, talking about Kiri. They'll die not knowing. At least they know about Kumo and Iwa's treachery now. Thanks to the feed, Onoki forgot the broadcast was still ongoing. Let us see what they are going to do. Kiri in encampment. Earlier before Horizon performed the Edo Tensei. Who have remained behind to watch the feed and properly give orders depending on the changing situation, was horrified to find out that the Mizukage had betrayed by the Raikage and Tsuchikage. Unknown to the Kiri army, the Uzumaki sent them a fake feed through their telecast, where they witnessed Mei and her 100 being brutally murdered by the Raikage and Tsuchikage and 100 bolt and rock. Sama, a mist bowed before him. Kiri looks to you, said another. What are your orders, Rokude? Mizukage-sama, said the third. Ao took a hard look as he drew a long breath. Recall all our forces. Have them withdrawn from battle. Inform our men of Kumo and Iwa's betrayal. Once we have regrouped, we will be taking over Kumo's ship. I'll give further orders later. Hi. Chunin Sujitsu, stay beside me. You'll be replacing Chojiro. Yes, sir. May I ask, why did he die? No, worse. Have you forgotten? He made a fool of himself during the first part of the exam. He doesn't deserve to be one of the 7 swordsmen. Sure, he got skills. That's what made Mei-sama pick him. I was one of those who disgraced because of his lack of confidence. We both hoped that he'd find it. But until now, he's still scared of doing things and still needed encouragement. In battle, there will be a time where you'll be alone, where you will begin to lose hope. There will be no one to encourage you to perform better than your opponent. You might as well just kill yourself if you're lacking confidence. We're all at war now. You'll be taking Hiramekari from him. I'll know you're in line for the Kobirokochi, but since your brother, Mangetsu, was the last wielder of the Great Twin Blades, I'm sure you'll be fine. Yes, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. But Mangetsu, he was very grateful indeed. By wielding the Hiramekari, this means he is the highest ranking member of the 7 swordsmen. The lowest ranking was the one wielding the Kiboromochi. Kiri encampment, present time. Now that you're all here, I would like to remind everyone that we are now at war with not just Konoha but Kumo and Iwa as well. We have been betrayed by them. They brutally killed our Kodam Mizukage as well as Rokudama-sama. Our first course of action will be to take over Kumo's ships. Thankfully, we only lost about 100 men during the initial invasion. We will kill all Kumo in guarding the ships and hijack the merge with ours. So here what we're going to do. Kill the Kumo in guardians and guarding the ships. Take over the ships and merge it with our fleet. Okay, under our circumstances and any circumstances, we are to avoid the Uzumaki nins. They come to destroy the leaf as well. We do not want them turning their attention to us. They have advanced weapons and we have no means for fighting them at the moment. I'll figure further orders once the task is done. Let's move, shouted A. Hi, Uzumaki fleet commandmentship. In movement. There's movement with Kiri army. Narumi, my orders earlier are now void. Pull out your corps and form a defensive position around our fleet. Now, Kushina said through the radio. What are we going to do with Kiri? Asked Mei. Nothing for now. If their next course of action is to attack Konoha, we'll let them. We'll join in only when the fake Madara armies finally join the fight. We cannot risk our men getting copied by those white Zetsu creatures. I guess it's time for us to move. We'll handle the Kiri army, said Orochimaru as he stood up. Indeed, Suna shall assist Oto, said the Uzukage. Uzumaki Air Force's POV. Each airship was being enough to impose power just by presenting itself to their armies. The Uzumaki insignia, looking proud and intimidating, decorated the ship's hull. The ship had a total of 10 cannons. There were 9 long-range cannons and 1 gravity cannon. It also had 24 automatic high-powered crossbows and projectiles launcher that can be used for mid to close-range combats and landing on enemy-infested areas. Inside the ship were 5 people connected with the ship's main body structure with their Rinnegan Petra path. The main task of these 5 were to absorb any incoming jutsu hurled towards the ship. As the airships got near the Hokage monument, they began bombarding the approaching army and with explosives and long-range jutsu through their cannons. As they got nearer, the ships decreased altitude for an easier sweeping. The projectiles launcher and crossbows roared to life as they mowed down the fake Madara's army. Obito's POV. Obito Uchiha was grinning like a maniac behind his mask. He was able to capture Eva and Kumo, and the village leaders were now none the wiser. When the broadcast was hijacked by the Uzumaki, he immediately assembled his army of mercenaries and Zetsu's clones. He ordered the white creatures to travel underground and reappear outside 2 miles away from Konoha's Hokage monument. They poured out from the mouth of the inactive volcano. Obito had to prepare a 15-minute ritual in order to teleport himself and 13,000 more others besides the inactive volcano. Once ready and organized, he led the march. Obito and his army was 1,000 meters away when they first caught sight of the Uzumaki airship. They were about 900 meters away when the airship launched an invisible kind of attack. Obito had no idea what they were, but figured it was dangerous as they felt the ground shake for a moment. He had the army halted, approaching the maintain balance. When the ground stopped shaking, they resumed their march. They were only 700 meters away before descending the mountain when suddenly the Uzumaki airship flew towards them. He ignored the flying machines and told his army to do so, thinking they were only flying past the encircle the island and launch a second wave of attack. He was wrong. As the first airship reached past the Hokage heads, it cannon trained towards them and opened fire. Obito calmly told his army to avoid being hit while returning fire. However, he became alarmed when the jutsus thrown by Kisame and Kakuzu were simply absorbed by the ships and kept on coming. Things started to get out of hand when the airship swooped low and began firing barrage of projectiles at a high rate. His army were caught by surprise and most were not able to raise defenses. As Obito watched his army get mowed down, he knew he had to act quickly. There's nothing I can do about the mercenaries now. Zetsu, Kisame, Kakuzu, Hidan, Sasori were moving underground. Zetsu, have the clones copy others as soon as possible. Nagato's ship, sir, they're escaping. Cut off their escape. Fired earth jutsus to level the ground they're hiding at, ordered Nagato. Tanks, do you copy? Madara's army of white Zetsu's gone off the radar. Sensors, locate them. Sir, what are we going to do about the mercenaries? Their clients have obviously abandoned them. Kill them all, came the voice of Uzukage. Will do, Kushina-sama. Sir, this is from the tank corps. The Zetsu and the other strong arm have descended to mountain. They finally joined the fight. Affirmative. We don't have to worry about getting copied anymore. Rappel down from your ships. Engage the mercenaries. Sensors, keep an eye out for fakes. Yes, sir. An estimated count of 10,000 white Zetsus have been mowed down during the initial strike. Around 5,000 mercenaries are on the process of fleeing. Tanks cut down all of them. Nobody escapes. With the Uzumaki Navy, Naruto ship, Naruto boy. Use your chakra, go quick. Naruto heard the sage voice. Although confused, he did as ordered. He guessed as he sensed about 300 unfriendly chakra signatures. There were at least 2 on each ship. Intruder. He roared as he slammed a Rasengan towards the technician's gut. He and his friends watched in combination of awe and confusion as the technician's body turned white. Moments later, roots sprouted out of his body until there was a younger tree. A white Zetsu, exclaimed Sasuke as he noticed its face and green hair before it became a tree. Damn it, how come we didn't notice? Asked bewildered Hinata. Mom, we have a problem, but I'm taking care of it. I need you to order all ships to seal off. I'll be entering each ship one by one and kill the intruders. White Zetsu have managed to copy ship personnel. I'll come to the command ship last once I'm done cleaning. There's only one pretender in your ship. Keep everything silent. I'm moving. Nobody leaves the ship until I order. ordered Naruto as he exited the room and went to find the other parasites in his ship. A tree? Why did it become a tree? Yo, asked B. We're also unsure. Naruto just activated his cloak and attacked that guy. Sasuke pointed at the tree. I'm sure he'll explain things later once he dealt with the intruders. Naruto, meanwhile, went from ship to ship and killed the white Zetsus, turning them into trees. He didn't bother explaining to the startled ship personnel, who witnessed a person turning into a tree. After about a half an hour getting rid of the clones, they finally arrived at the command ship and immediately entered the bridge. Wood release, wood imprisonment, roots quickly erupted around the body of the ship captain until a wood cage formed. The captain's limb still wrapped around the roots. Naruto, what? Asked a startled Kushina. Everyone in the room was confused. The confusion face immediately turned into looks of understanding as the ship captain formed or say went back to the initial form of White Zetsu. Astonished, why did I feel connected to him? Thought Naruto and the captured clone. Chapter 21 ended here. Let's continue with chapter 22, Burning Leaf. Uzumaki Fleet, command ship. We do not have time for torture, said Naruto. We need information now. The real captain of the ship was back now. Him alongside the Uzukage, Tsunade, and Minato were observing the captive with a critical eye. Kushina nodded and activated her Rinnegan. She placed her hand on the captured Zetsu forehead and closed her eyes. For a while, everyone in the room was silent as they watched. Finally, the Uzukage opened her eyes. Nothing. I can't get anything. This creature has no soul. It is merely a clone. How about a truth seal? Suggested Tsunade. That could work, but we'll need further. He is more proficient in mind-related seals. I'm still mastering it. Tsunade nodded and went to fetch Arashi, who was currently moderating the cannon up deck. 5 minutes later, Arashi slapped a truth seal to the captive's neck. Speak, commanded Kushina. Hi? Responded the confused creature. How do you and your Berthen manage to infiltrate the ship? Asked Arashi. We didn't do it on purpose. Before we arrived here, we were being killed by these airships. Then Madara-sama ordered us to travel underground and join the fighting inside the village. When we appeared from the ground, we were here. But how? The fleet is 1,000 meters away from the outer walls. We felt attracted to this place. When we appeared here, we felt nice. We felt comfortable. We got cut off from the other Zetsus who were inside Konoha, those who were drawn here. We had an agreement that we like it here. So you just liked it here, huh? You didn't say here to sabotage or spy on the ship? No. Why would we want this place ruined when it felt good? I see. What happened to people you copied? Nothing. We didn't do anything harmful to them. In fact, when we appeared from underground, we already had a copied personality. As for me, the person I copied was currently on his way to the loo. In my mind, I felt the need to do my duty, or rather the person's duty I copied, and so I went here and did the captain's duties. Strange. Has this happened before? Appearing to a different place No. There's something I wanted to know, said Naruto. When I killed the other clones, they turned into trees. Why? Do you have Moketan? Asked the Zetsu clone. I do. That's it then. We got attracted here because of you. You probably visited the other ships we appeared at. And you may believe the reason why we turn into trees when you kill us is because of your DNA. Madara-sama, the real Madara, took some flesh from the corpse of Hashirama. We clones are made of that DNA. Our bodies are technically made of Moketan cells. Interesting, muttered Arashi. If you're done interrogating me, I must return to my captain's duty, said the clone blankly, much to the amusement of the others in the room. Mother, Grandma, Grandpa, I have a theory in mind. I'll need your summoned chameleons to observe the battlefield at first. I'll stay on area and cast a Moketan Jutsu. Observe the Zetsus after an hour. I'll make clones and station them around the battlefield to cast Moketan again. My theory is this: the Zetsu on the area where I did Moketan become a literal clone of the person they copied. Their mindsets change and work for the same side of the one they copied. Take this one we captured, for example. He now thinks he's the captain of the ship. If this is the battlefield act the same, then we may have gotten an easier way of distinguishing enemies, allies, and pretenders. If my theory is correct, then the Zetsus will fight for Kumo and Iwa. We'll just have to kill them all in the end. We only have to make sure that the whole Zetsu's army copies an enemy need before we finally clash against them. Kiri encampment. Rokudaime Mizukage, Ao's plan was successful. The Kiri armies managed to kill the guarding Kumonins on the ship. They now have control of Kumo's ships. I want 15,000 of you to form a perimeter around our encampment, while the remaining will man the ships. We're bombarding Konoha from here, shouted Ao. Yeah, cheered the army. Inside Konoha with a leaf. Where the hell is Danzo? Hiruzen thought angrily. Inoichi, we're pulling back. Here's the location of the root base. It can house up to 15,000. We'll be safe down there. Relay this message we left. Kumo, Iva, and Kiri, Uzushio, and the other armies kill each other for now. Will resurface later when their numbers have dwindled. Hi, Kumo, Iva, Lance, Raikage, Tsuchikage, the forces that came from the mountainside are confirmed to be reinforcements, screamed by a confused Kumo censored in. He was running towards the two Kages. Behind them was another scout of Iva. Indeed, they're wearing Kumo and Iva uniform, said the others. Unknown to the two village leaders, these were in fact Zetsu clone who believed themselves as scouts now. What? How is that possible? Shouted A. I didn't understand, Raikage-sama, said the scout. They reportedly said there were 100,000 up to the mountain. I believe there was a mistake, said the other scout. Yes, a mistake. We only sensed about 10,000 coming from the mountain. Just another scout ran towards them. Raikage-sama, Tsuchikage-sama, we have confirmation that Kiri forces have pulled out, said the newcomer. He noticed that the two scouts from him scratched his head. Hey, I thought you two were scouting at the mountain. What? We've been down here for 30 minutes already, said the Zetsu turned Kumo scout. Yeah, said the other. Oh, you must have used clones. Yes, clones. Alright, interrupted A. What is the thing from Kiri you were saying again? Yes, sir. Kiri forces have been pulled out. After following them to the outer walls, I watched them regroup and the docks. Incoming! The Eva scout shouted, pointing at a cannonball, firing at with the lightning. I'll handle it, said Oniki, floating upwards and forming a cube. Particle style. My back. It hurts. Lariant. Phew, thank you, Raikage-sama. Sir, that one's from our ship. Cannons. The scout said, recognizing the unique cannonball. Another nin came towards them, running. Sir, the Kiri forces have taken our ships. We were already aware of that, replied I gruffly as a cannonball exploded a few meters beside them. The bombardment needs to be stopped, said Oniki. The Raikage nodded. Darui. Someone find Darui, Uzumaki command ship. Kairi. A brigade from Kumo and Iwa joining. Combined are headed out to attack the Kiri encampment. Stop them. The Sand and Sound armies has to keep kept a secret until all forces from Konoha are left. Minako and Narumi join forces and activate the seals. The fake Madara and Zetsu's army and the other 6 have joined the fray. Nobody escapes. We're moving in for the kill zone. Nagato, status upon the Hokage monument. You heathens should be seen art, screamed Deidara in distance. It's an explosion. This is true art, said Konan as she unleashed more paper and folded them into sharp objectives and applying wind-natured chakra, cutting groups of mercenaries. Yahiko was hacking and slashing while chuckling out explosive tags everywhere. Then Nagato pulled a mercenary that was trying to escape and pierced him using his arm that he transformed into a metal rod. We're almost done here, was the Kage-sama. There are only less 300. Kiri's encampment. Guhahaha. Take that, you bloody traitors. The in behind the cannons laughed in delight as they reloaded their cannons and blasted it to where Kumo and Iwa armies were. Just then the ones up the ship's watchtowers began to shout, There are 2 armies approaching! Oto and Suna, fire! Shouted the Kazegaki and the Otokage in unison. The army behind them roared and hurled projectiles towards the Kiri encampment, destroying their lines into disorder. Long-range attacks now, ordered Rasa. Ministal, wind-cutting blades. Now, said Orochimaru, sound style, displacing longitudinal waves. Sand and sound collaboration, great sound cyclone technique. Kara, destroy the ship, said the Kazekage. The Ichibi Jinchuriki nodded and transformed into Shikaku, advancing towards the shores and sending the Kiri in flying that tried to stop him. Tamari and Kankuro were following behind, killing enemies on the way as well. Kidemaru, Seikon, Ukon, Chirobo, Dosu, Kin, Zaku, assist Kara and his siblings. Will do, Otokage-sama. Darui's brigade. General Darui, the bombing has ceased. We're still going, Lieutenant. File into 4 columns. We're passing through that tunnel on the wall. It shall give us cover from the Kiri scouts. Hi! Double time! Shinra Tensei, the lieutenant screamed as he and the others behind him were thrown backwards. This is so dull, muttered Darui as he regained composure and faced off the person who disrupted their march. Blocking their passage through the wall was a man with red hair who looked like the Uzukage. Behind him were the masked nin, wearing the standard purple storm uniform. All of them were redheads. Darui noted behind their masks were purple eyes with rings patterns. Uzumaki, Shinra, Tensei, Haotao thought Darui as he and the other forces were once again sent back flying. They crash landed against their fellow Kumonin inside the village. With the fake Maadra and his army joining the battle, the attacking armies of Kumo and Diva were in confusion due to their increased numbers. Meanwhile, the Konoha Nin took this opportunity to withdraw from the battle and hiding underground, while their enemies were preoccupied. Unknown to them, some of the Zetsu clones also managed to join them, fleeing underground, attracting with the mere presence of the Shodai Hokage. Hiruzen changed his mind and decided to pull out the resurrected Hokages from the battle as well. Senju Hashirama, even though under the control of Ero Tensei, he knew his subconsciousness about the Zetsu's connection with him. This was the overlooked flaw with the creation Zetsu. Should the Shodai gain control of his resurrected body, he would be able to control the Zetsu creatures that Madara and his successor created. The Uchiha may know of many have not known about this, as both Madara and Obito were not aware of this jutsu that was Edo Tensei, Narumi and Minako's combined corpse. After receiving confirmation from their allies besides Kiri and Navis encampment, Narumi and Minako ordered their forces to march to the village. As they grew closer, they found clusters of small forests around the villages. Small forests sprouted everywhere, destroying houses and pavements. They halted as they received news information about their new armies and enemies. The beings that were known as White Zetsus were no longer under control of the original Zetsu and the fake Madara. An experimentation from Naruto came from stating that the Zetsus were affected by Mokutan due to them being cultivated from Hashirama cells, and since Naruto was a descendant from the first Mokutan user, he also caused an effect to the white creatures. The final theory that they wanted to see was Hashirama completely controlling the Zetsus. When they taken care of the Kuma and Iwanins, the higher-ups will be now focusing on releasing the Shodai and Nandem Hokages from the Sandem control. With Suna, Otto and Kiri, "What is this? Why are you attacking us?" demanded Ao, as he called a wave of water to intercept the Kazekage's own golden dust wave, missed our enemies to whirlpool. While the sand are allied with Suzushio Gakure, and by extensions, Kiri Gakure is also the enemy of Suda Gakure, replied Rasa simply. "Damn right, the same applies with sound. Your village is also my village's enemy," added Orochimaru as he joined the fight, having finished dealing with Suigetsu and Mizukage's guards. Both Kazekage and Mizukage called forth another huge wave of water and sand. As the wave crashed against each other, the area became flooded with heavy mist coated with sand particles. All the fighting around them ceased as everyone had to take cover to protect their eyes. While everyone was distracted, a huge arm of sand extended both Kages. Orochimaru recognized the Shukaku's partial transformation and saw Gaara and his siblings at the chest of their part of the monster. He followed as the sand demon turned its feet into waves of sand and flew away from the battle. By the time the Suna Nin recovered and managed to blow the sand and mist with their wind jutsu, the spot where the Kages were was now clear. The three armies were confused for a moment before they heard an explosion and felt the rumble of the ground about a few kilometers away. Glancing at the distance, they saw the Ichibi Jinchuriki completely transformed into Shigaku. Then they understood that the Kages went away so they could go all out without harming their allies. With a war cry from Kimimaru Kaguya of the sound, the Oto Nins unleashed another wave of sound jutsus, disorienting the Kiri Nin that were close. The battle recommenced. With Gaara and siblings, Otokage-sama, please deal with the Mizukage, while me and my siblings fight our beloved father, said Gaara. Orochimaru quickly understood and summoned Manda, starting his battle against the Mizukage, who was still fighting at Gaara's confounded. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Rasa. "We're only returning the love you provided us, father," replied Tamari, "or rather the lack of love you gave," added Kankuro. "I know it was you who sent assassins after me when I was younger. I interrogated our dear uncle Yashamaru. He's now dead. You'll be following him soon." Sabuka Q. Back in Konoha, the Kuma and Kiri armies who were attacking earlier were now in the defenses as if protecting the leaf. The Raikage and the Tsuchikage ordered their men to form a defensive position as the wall surrounding the village collapsed. As the dust cleared, an army now stood in place of the fallen walls, all wearing red armor, proudly showing the Uzumaki crest. They were surrounded and trapped. A purple barrier shimmered out of existence, forming a huge dome and covered the whole village. A and Oniki rallied their troops and the Uzunin charged towards the battle. A female version of Minato and a male version of Kushina headed for them and attacked. The two Kage actually recognized them and the mentioned eldest child. Narumi drew her sword and engaged the Raikage in a Kenjutsu against Taijutsu match, while her brothers Minako slammed two giant Rasengans at the old man Tsuchikage's particle shield. Up in the mountain, ha ha ha, ours shall prevail, Deidara crackled as the final mercenary exploded into blood and gore. I think we're done here, said Yahiko. Yes, time to go down, Nagato said as he commanded troops regrouped. I'll teach those Kumonins my art, as Eva will never understand and appreciate, hence my defection. Deidara solemnly swore. I'll teach them my art then, said Conan. Ah, the seals have been activated, Yahiko muttered as the walls collapsed, where moments later a purple transparent dome appeared over the village. You guys can blow things up to your heart content inside the barrier. The outside won't be affected, informed Nagato. Ha, yes, the heavens smile upon me. See to dragon, Deidara yelled triumphantly as he hopped on the hovering dragon clay and directed it to the mountain. He dived bombed at a huge group of Eva ninjas and who were gaping at him, apparently recognizing him. Katsu, you fucker said my art was rubbish. Now tremble in awe and cry your hearts out as my experienced divine judgment. C3, muhahaha. Let's go, ordered Nagato as Deidara continued to blow up Eva nins. The army behind them yelled as war cry as they ran down the mountain. The airship once again went airborne and hooked a tank each and carried it down to the village. I thought said he's teaching the Kumonins instead, muttered Conan as paper wings formed on her back. With the Akatsuki, Deidara was having fun killing enemies when a group not too far from him suddenly died screaming. A tail that looked of a scorpion appeared and made a strike at the blonde. Deidara cackled madly as he avoided it and chuckled. See one bomb at the tail. Unlike what you are proclaiming, this is the true art. Behold, a performance of 100 puppets, the gruff voice said. Ah, sorcery, my man. A fellow artist. We'll see whose art is better, Line. Break. Meanwhile, Yahiko was staring at a man, or is that a woman, in front of him who was wielding a three-blade scythe. You will be the fine sacrifice for Jashin-sama, screamed Hidan passionately. Just what the hell are you? I, Hidan, am the priest and chosen of Jashin-sama. Prepare to die. Ah, so you're a male then, concluded Yahiko. You heathen, how dare you call me how dare you mistake me as not a man? I never said you weren't, muttered Yahiko as he prepared for battle. You fucking psycho. How dare you? Line break. I can't sense the others. What the hell is happening? Quiet, you. But I said quiet. There are Uzu nins in front of us. Oh no. So you're Zetsu, said Konan. The white creature dramatically spun as exclaimed. Hello. Die, ordered Konan. Line break. Tuna, observed Nagato. I'm a shark. Damn it, a fucking shark, screamed Kisame indignantly. Kaede versus Darui. The two generals have been fighting for a good 30 minutes now. They were only slightly winded and wasting trading bursts of A-rank elemental attacks while going into a taijutsu combat every now and then. For Darui, though, he was beginning to feel trouble as he kept on moving to avoid his component's jutsu, who seemed like he was merely throwing kunas with such ease. Kaede didn't bother moving away as he simply absorbed the attacks and recycled the chakra to throw back another jutsu at the Kumonin, Gale-style laser circle. He really absorbed it. I thought I was imagining things. How dull. Darui thought as he drew his sword and made a form slash at his enemy. I'll have you know, Kumogakure's pride itself in Genjutsu, we are the masters of the art. Used to, corrected Kaede as he drew his own katana. While the Uzumakis are natural Genjutsu master, we have drilled ourselves into Genjutsu as well. Prepare yourself. How dull, muttered Darui as his opponent easily parried his attack. Genjutsu art, Uzumaki style, water waltz. Kaede arched his sword in a wiping motion, and Darui watched mesmerized as the katana smeared with water twirling around it. First step, Kaede moved towards forward direction and did a rising slash at his opponent. Darui quickly concentrated and coated his own sword with lightning chakra and jumped backwards after deflecting the bow. He was sure the attack didn't reach him, but felt blood dripping from his right arm. Second step, the Uzumaki made his horizontal slash to the right. Darui jumped earlier, made some distance from his opponent, and was surprised when the water slid swirling around the sword, shot towards him like a whip, and cut his wrist. Third step, the Storm Commander made a downward slash this time while his opponent tried to sever the water whip. Darui was pulled towards him. Fourth step, Kaede finished the waltz as he did a horizontal slash to the left. His katana seemed to explode as it cut its target. Darui managed to raise his sword to keep himself from getting cut. However, the Kumo general's sword was cut like butter, while the Uzishu general's katana passed through his chest. Now that wasn't a dull, a fatal attack. Darui's final words were these as he fell from the battle. With Soundfor and Team Dosu As a reward for graduating the Academy of Uchiha's course, the group used the gift Orochimaru bestowed upon them. The Sound Nin slaughtered their opponents with ease with their sound masks activated combined with the natural skills they honed from Whirlpool. Activating stage 2 of the Sound Mark, the Sound Nins inspired awe and fear upon their enemies. The Kiri Nin were helpless as they had no idea how to defend themselves from attacks in the form of sound. Kimemaru, whose terminal disease just got treated, looked magnificent and frightening. At the same time, with the sound mark, the snake Sanin gave it to him a week after Tsunade healed his supposedly incurable disease. Grey, black, and obsidian black bones were sprouting from his back. Unlike the natural white, enhanced by the mark, the bones were bigger and stronger and sharper. His appearance made him look like he was wearing a leafless pine tree and armor. Orochimaru vs. Ao. Youngsters these days are so disrespectful, sighed Ao as he watched the Kazekage defending himself from his children. Back in my days, Orochimaru interrupted him and immediately engaged him in battle. He hopped up from Manda and proceeded to coordinate attacks with his summon. They fought for 10 minutes while Orochimaru actually was only testing his water. He thought Ao somehow deserved his position as Mizukage due to his speed. However, he was only fast in Taijutsu, while Orochimaru was faster and was also good at wide-range attacks. Back in my days, quite sure reminiscing. Your days are over, said Orochimaru as Manda lunged at the Mizukage. Ao easily dodged the strike and glared at his opponent. Grabbing his eye patch, he took it off and threw it at the ground. You can't catch me, for I have this, Byakugan. If there's anything I hate the most, began Orochimaru as he dismissed Manda and flashed his pencil. It's people who steal Genkai. Kyochise, Yamato no Orochi. There was a huge puff of smoke, and when it cleared, an 8-headed serpent towered over the Mizukage. The Otokage stood on top of one of the heads with the arms folded. This one's a thief, Orochimaru told the great serpent. I see, a Dojutsu, eh? One of the heads muttered as the other struck. Our unwounded eye widened as he hastily went back to his senses and avoided the serpent's head. He is showing the same speed he used to take down the Hyuga whose eyes he have taken from himself. Trust me, he'll be on the defensive from the whole time until he dies. Please don't play with him. There are still 5 armies waiting to be crushed. My men along with the Sand are taking on the Kiri while Whirlpool is dealing with Kumo, Eva and Madara's army. As for Konoha, they've decided to hide underground while the battles raged on. I'm sure you'll like to have your share killing those leaf scum. There was a huge blast that they immediately recognized as a tail beast bomb. Orochi didn't respond to Orochimaru's as he took the Bijudama as a form of competition and glared at Ao. 8 had reared back and breathed great flames towards the Mizukage direction. Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara vs. Rasa. Normally, it would seem impossible for Kazekage to be on the defensive against 3 Chunins. However, these Chunins were taught and trained by Uchiha Gakure. The battle had been raging for 10 minutes now, and Rasa was still defending. The Tanuki was throwing waves of water, of sands at him. He would use his gold sand to fight it off, but found it difficult. Temari threw A-rank jutsus while Kankuro had a dozen puppets all firing poisonous projectiles at him. The last time he knew, the one-tailed demon thrashed around wildly. When transformed, Temari could only do C-rank jutsus and Kankuro only had 3 puppets. Now it was different. Temari moved gracefully with her new war fan, while Kankuro controlled the puppets with ease. The Shikaku attacks was controlled and he was coordinated, attacking with Temari and Kankuro. The Kazekage felt the tension lessen as he noticed Temari and Kankuro stop attacking. He immediately raised more sand to overpower the Shikaku when he heard them doing the summon technique. Temari stood side by side with Tanuki that was a quarter of Shikaku in size. With Kankuro was a red scorpion almost the same size as Temari's summon. The siblings watched Shikaku and waited for the signal. The giant Tanuki disengaged from battle and flickered its tail towards the Kazekage. This is it, thought the two. Kankuro led his 2 puppets with his summoned scorpion at the back, charging towards his father. Temari and her summon would be providing long-distance assistance to keep the Kazekage occupied, while Shikaku gathered the necessary chakra for the tail beast bomb. As Kankuro's puppets surrounded their target and fired projectiles, the Kazekage erected a wall of sand to shield himself, while at the same time making a sandstorm to turn the tables. The summoned scorpion closed distance and with ease and blended with the Kazekage sent. Temari sent howling blast of air to disrupt his father's defenses, while her summoned Tanuki created a swirl mist of sand to hide the Shikaku from view until it was under the attack. Rasa was feeling both angry and proud at the same time. He was angry because his children have turned on him, proud because they were formidable as a team and were able to push him back in battle. He decided he'll forgive Tamari and Kankuro for their actions and promote them to Jonin due to their skills, while he will personally execute Kara in front of the whole Suna for treason. Just then Rasa noticed something was amiss. He reminded Tamari's summon. What is it doing now? The Kazekage released his sand shield and waved his arms to make the sandstorm stronger. Conqueror's puppets were blown away due to his strong wind. His tension lessened at having eliminating the things that could poison him. Just then he felt a stinging sensation on his right forearm and saw a scorpion tail amidst the hail of sand. Just as it appears, it vanished fast and blended in the sand. Damn it, I got careless, thought the Kazekage. He felt a sense of doom when his right hand felt numb. He felt the numbness creep up until he couldn't feel his entire arm. In his panic, he didn't anticipate another strike and got stung by the left ankle. His control over the sandstorm slipped away as his limbs became paralyzed. The sandstorm died, and once again he was unable to see his surroundings properly. He noticed a small storm of sand obscuring his view of something tall and wide. On the corner of his eye, he noticed the puppets withdrew and the scorpion scuttled back to Kankuro. Goodbye, father. He heard Tamari's whisper coldly. The small sandstorm stopped and crept towards Tamari and Kankuro, forming the huge ball with them inside. The way clear he could now see what the sand was hiding. There was a huge purple ball hovering by the Shikaku's head. Rasa closed his eyes as he emitted his defeat. His body was paralyzed. If he could move and protect himself, he will only waste chakra, as the demon could simply blast him in a second ball. Shikaku aimed at the Kazekage and released the ball of dark purple energy. Bijudama! When the explosion cleared, there was only a huge crater. Gaara, who was inside the Shikaku's head, extended his senses and looked for the Kazekage. There was none. He is dead. Let's go. Gaara said, with the voice of Shikaku. Tamari and Kankuro dismissed their summons and climbed the giant tanuki head. The Shikaku walked towards the battle area of Orochimaru and Ao. There were 8-headed serpents and flames everywhere. The Hokage was standing on one of the heads. The Mizukage nowhere to be seen. The Mizukage killed the Kazekage by mist and acid jutsu. Inform Baki just in case they look for the body, said Gaara while the Shikaku laughed maniacally. Orochimaru smirked in understanding. Very well. You three are in need at the commanding ship to receive your next mission with the Sand and Sound Army. Kaboom! What was that? A sound Chunin wondered aloud. That, my friend, was the Shikaku's Bijudama, replied a Sand Chunin. The Mizukage is done for. The others who have also recognized this grinned. Let's finish his army then. Yeah! With a renewed vigor, the two armies attacked the Kiri with more ferocity. A few minutes later, they felt the ground shaking and spotted the Yamato no Orochi with the Shikaku. The Sand and Sound armies once again cheered while the Kiri began to lose morale. The battle ended 15 minutes after the Yamato no Orochi reached the battlefield and laid waste. Orochimaru ordered the Sound 4 and Dosu team to go to the command ship. As they left with Gaara and his siblings, the Hokage informed the Sound and Sand of their Kazekage's demise by the Mizukage's hand. He told Baki that Rasa told him he'll be the Yondam successor, and so Baki became the Godam Kazekage. Uzumaki command ship. Welcome back, began the Uzukage. As you notice, you are with your batchmates. You'll be working once again as a whole class. As there are a 12 of teams, you'll be divided into 4 subgroups. Team Fox will consist of Naruto's team with the Sound 4 and Team Dosu. The Raccoon team will be Gaara's team with 7 and 8. Team Chome will be Fu's team with Team 9 and 10. Utakana will be joining the Slug team, which consists of Tayuya team, Team 11 and Team 10 and 12. Now there's a Jinchuriki on each group. The non-Jinchuriki goal is to protect and provide cover for the Jinchurikis in your group until you arrive at your assigned destination. Team Fox will be heading towards the centermost part of the village. Team Raccoon will be the northern area. Team Chome at the southwest area. Slug will be the southwest area. When all of you are in position, Naruto, Gaara, Fu and Utakata will assume into their tail-based mode and havoc wreck. This mission serves 2 purposes. 1, to give our armies the feeling of helplessness. 2, to draw out the lieutenants who have been hiding underground, or more specifically, the Konoha higher-ups. Our sleep agents shall take care of the trapping the rest of them. Everything clear? Hi. The team that nodded and left the ship. At the Chuni's left the office. Minato, Tsunade, and Arashi entered the briefing room. Right, as soon as the old monkey comes out with the Shaudai and Nandem, Hokage will rush into their location and free them from the head of Tensei. "Minato-kun, it's time," said Kushina. The former Hokage nodded and was gone in a flash. Konoha underground. Sarutobi gazed at his village gravely. He was feeling a bit thankful as he noticed at least 70% of the village population made it underground safely. Both civilians and shinobi alike were there, waiting and watching. The village had a contingency plan of having all the village's army themselves and fighting in case of full-scale war. He popped a chakra replenishing pill to his mouth and focused his gaze on the screens. The Yamanakas were currently working full time, providing coverage above ground. They have possessed the crows that they have come to the village, waiting for the battle to end so they could feast on the fallen. Each Yamanaka was connected to the screen that showed what they were seeing. They developed this strategy in case the security cameras failed. Line break. Yakushi Anko's daughter of Orochimaru and Nono Yakushi smirked as they watched the civilians leave, quiver in fear as they held their given weapons, while the shinobi murmured to their comrades nervously as they watched the Uzumaki army erect a barrier and sword the Kuma and Iwa army. 7 years before the date of the Leaf's downfall, she had been admitted to the Leaf after making a scene at the gates. She had no trouble convincing the guards, doctor, and the interrogators that a trading caravan has been ambushed by a rogue Kuma and Iwa shinobi. She was brought to the hospital where she finally met her brother Kabuto after not seeing her or him since the attack on the Whirlpool. She took on the aliases of Mitarashi Anko. Once she passed the 3 months probation, she was allowed to join the ranks of Chunin and eventually was promoted to Tokubetsu Jonin after a year. She was specially accepted to the T Division due to her sadistic streaks. Her father was most pleased, and she was able to easily communicate directly with Kabuto and Nono, who were also a part of high position at the hospital. Since most of the people were brought before and after interrogation at the hospital, their passing of information with each other was suspicious. 2 years before the invasion, she found out about the huge underground dome they were currently in hiding at. She had her summoned snakes explore the area while she discreetly searched information about it. As it turned out, the place had been created with the news about Wave Country being freed about an unknown group reaching them. A week after her discovery, she was given orders to place remote control seals all over the place. Even Sunday night, she would receive 10 tags for her to plant. 3 were chakra limiter seals, the other 3 were barrier seals, while the remaining were explosive seals. Eventually, the dome has been filled with 1,000 tags, all of them linked to her chakra signatures, waiting to be activated. Anko was interrupted from her musing when she saw Shimura Danzo walk past her before nodding. She had to control herself from bursting out laughing as the supposedly dead Yondam Hokage approached the Sandam with his walking stick. As the Sandam restrained Danzo and confirmed his identity, she created a clone and had it watch the scene like most of the people there did. While she stepped into a hidden room, she created and started making hand seals. The 1,000 tags in the room required exactly 250 hand seals to active. Link break. Minato, under the guises of Danzo, calmly approached the Sandam with an impassive look. Suddenly, he found himself unable to move. The Sandam Mokutan abilities showed that Mokutan ability restraining. Danzo growled angrily, his scars becoming visible. "What is the meaning of this, Sarutobi? You've been missing since the exam's 3rd part. Feared you got caught by the enemy. Prove that you really are who you appear to be. Alright then, ask me something." Sarutobi nodded and asked him to recite a line that only the Hokage knew, a secret code. Minato inwardly smirked at the tricky question. Normally he wasn't supposed to know, but since Danzo was Danzo, the old Warhawk also knew. If Kushina hadn't extracted the old bastard's memory, Minato wouldn't have known if Danzo knew. The Sandam visibly relaxed when he provided the answer and released Danzo from the restraints. "What happened to you, my friend?" asked Hiruzen as he led Danzo away from the listening ears. "I was ambushed by Kumo Black Lightning Corps and Eva's Jinchurikis. I was drained of chakra and was about to get executed when my route arrived in time to save me. They provided me enough chakra pills so I could perform the Zenagi. After that, I had to find an Uchiha with a Mangekyo to replace the one I lost. I found Shisui, killed him, and then took his eyes. I had the rest for at least 3 hours in order for the eyes to get compatible with my system. Of course, I was aware of the invasion ongoing, but couldn't really do anything myself. At the moment, however, I have my route working." Sarutobi nodded thoughtfully, believing the lie. "Where are your route?" "Above ground. They're carefully hiding and are waiting for further orders. We're going to fight once they reduce, yes? Of course, we'll crush them all for daring attacking Leaf." Minato was about to express his agreement when they heard the cries of shock and despair of the villagers. The Sandam hurriedly returned to the crowd and checked the screens to see what is happening. His eyes widened as he saw Shikaku, Nanabe, Rokubei, and Takubi roaring angrily, their tail thrashing everything as it wakes. Minato mentally congratulated Anko as he felt the seals all done with the dome activated. "Good. That shall prevent anyone Chunin level and below from coming out." They can have fun watching us. We slaughter everyone. Let them feel the helplessness and misery they made Naruto feel when he was here. Konoha above ground. The Uzumakis were relentlessly as they slaughtered the armies of Kuma and Iwa and what was left of Zetsu. Narumi and Minako were keeping Ei and Oniki from helping their own niece. The Uzumakis who had the Rinnegan awakened were giving the green lightning to use the pods. The red-haired warriors sucked out souls, summoned animals that kept on multiplying instead of dying, developed bombs, absorbed jutsus, pushed and pulled people with gravity. One by one or group by group, their enemies fell. Naruto and the other special teams fought every now and then as they headed to their assigned destination. Those who arrived early stood their ground and fought while they waited for the others to reach theirs. After 15 minutes of waving through the battlefield, the four special teams reached their destination. The four Jinchurikis mentally gave the signal and simultaneously entered the stage with tail beast mode. The towering figures of Shikaku, Chomin, Seikan, and Kurama loomed over the village. Konoha underground president. "We'll get trapped and die here if we don't leave," roared Danzo. "We're fighting now. We'll crush them all. Where to leave? We have the Monkey-chan and the Mangekyo Sharingan with us. We'll control the beast. Do not be afraid," shouted the Sandam, referring the Hashirama, Fugaku, Itachi, and Sasame. "And us too," exclaimed Jiraiya, who was now in sage mode. Elders Fukasaka and Shima on shoulder reassured. The villagers yelled in approval and swarmed out of the underground dome. The Sandam or the other high-ranking officers did notice the others unable to leave since the Jonin's and Anbus were the first one to exit. On Uzumaki command ship, "It's time," Kushina ordered to her parents and Harshin to Minato. Konoha Saratobi noticed a flash of red before he and his shinobi were blasted off the wall. Arashi immediately slapped a seal on Hashirama's head and Tsunade did the same for Tobirama. Saratobi regained his bearing. He saw Danzo smirking cruelly at him. "Danzo, what?" "Kai." The smoke disappeared. Danzo appearance morphed into a different person. "Greetings, Hokage-sama. I see your retirement is long overdue. Leaving the village while being in the fort, will you?" said the man. Hiruzen, Fugaku, Jiraiya, and the Toads and the rest of the Konan stared with wide eyes at the deceased, now also alive beyond them, Hokage, Namikaze, Minato, the Yellow Flash, the only person known to have single-handedly destroyed a whole army without Mokedan, Sharingan, or a tail beast sealed in him. Koharu, Hamura, and Danzo have met their ends while they watched the leaf burn. He took a 3-point cone and pointed at the tree. "You'll pay for what you did to my family." As this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, guys, I'm going to be uploading the next part of What If Naruto A Mother's Love, so stay tuned for that as well. And this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.